All right, hello to the second session of Apocalypse World Blue Sunset. The game we started last week, continuing now with John. We have a new player, and yeah, so maybe get like the basics out of the way. We're playing Apocalypse World Second Edition by Vincent Baker and Maggie Baker, and like for all Gauntlet games, the our inclusivity policy is in effect. We're going to be using the X card, so that means if something comes up that you don't want to go to, that we need to retcon, revert back from, X card like this, or in the chat, or just say it. I want to X card this. There's no need to explain yourself. We'll just move on from that element and make sure we all can have a fun, safe time with this. Which is kind of important because Apocalypse World is a game that tends toward the violent, the messy. It's a game about a community of people who have lost all cultural touchstones, so they don't really have a good baseline for what's ethically right or wrong anymore. A lot of things are just about their basic needs. So yeah, it can get kind of squeaky at times, but that's also kind of why we play this game, I assume, to play to find out what happens with these people. Yeah. So before we jump in where we left off last time, because that was a situation where someone had a gun to the back of their head. And we will need to see what comes of that. We have a little bit of housekeeping to do first. And I think one of those is to get to know a new character that we have. John, I think you picked the gun lover, is that right?
That is correct.
Cool. Do you want to tell us just, right, you picked from, I don't know if you picked from a list or made up your own little choices there, what you picked, what you imagine Sugar to be like, until we get to your HX questions.
So in terms of what I chose, if you're talking the looks, I guess we'll start with looks. If
yeah. Names, looks, that stuff.
She goes by Sugar. She is a tall, rangy, black woman, very dark skin. Typically keeps her hair shaved. She has a tragically broken nose, and a great deal of her body is covered with scars. She, some of them, a lot of them being knife scars. She carries a lot of knives on her, but she carries weapons all the time. So in terms of playbook choices, she is pretty much a straight combat machine, I guess. Started with Not to Be Fucked With, where she counts as a small gang in combat. Battle hardened, which means that she uses her hard to act under fire. and insano like Drano, which means she uses her hard, or rather her hard is 1 higher than normal. So she is 3 hard. And she's insano. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, let's figure this out. I assume you have some history questions on the playbook.
there are
very interesting how your character is positioned for everyone else.
There are, and unfortunately, I did not look at those. I didn't know how we're going to handle working me in. So,
do you have the PDF, or I can?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Because yeah, just that's cool. Just read out the first one, and we'll see who that.
Which one of you once left me bleeding and did nothing for me?
I mean, could be Blues. That seems like a thing he would do.
Yeah, Blues makes sense.
So was this outside of the dome?
Yeah, probably. Maybe
at the graveyard. Or
yeah, maybe. I don't know how like how you usually get by. Maybe you yeah, probably maybe you were part of like a place that I raided once. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you're tough, you survive. If you're not, you die. Cool. Hope I see you again.
Yeah, and before Sugar is Frankie.
cool.
Cool.
So you write down history or HX -2 for Blues.
Oh, I think I marked it the wrong direction. Let me go back to that.
It's on your character sheet that you would mark it.
Yeah, I marked it. Is there a minus? It's just I can only seem to go up. It's 2, isn't it?
No,
it's
you can go
2.
down. There's a little down arrow too.
Oh, okay. It was hanging on 0 for me. Okay, I got it.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
That's cool. What's your next question?
Which one of you has fought shoulder to shoulder with me?
I can take that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment. Cool. So you get
Hoover?
plus. Yep, Hoover. You get +2 with Hoover.
Okay. And which one of you is the prettiest and or smartest? I think this is going to work out pretty well.
I'm very pretty.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be
smart.
the case.
Yep, nice.
So Jaybird.
So, and I think I'm just going to say, if there's a fucking gun lugger in town, everybody kind of needs to be aware of them. So everybody should have +1 X with them.
Yeah. Well, I have +1 X with the people I don't usually know because I've seen them coming anyway. So
yeah, it's my business to know people, so I get non-medic +1.
Oh yeah, that's right. Usually you've got a for everyone else, right? Checks -1. Yeah, actually you can also, just for completeness sake, Sugar, write down also Eon, and you have HX -1. You find no particular need to understand most people.
Okay. impacted.
We're doing highlights again after this, or
Yeah, we'll do this after this. I
Okay.
kind of want us to see where we're at in general. But thank you. Yeah, that's one you always forget in Apocalypse World, right? But we'll do it again. Cool. So this might solve an issue, or not quite an issue or problem. But I want to hear all of your thoughts on it, because while Hoover is pretty Hoover, when you're at your source and hold up there, I think you're pretty well defended. But if I look at the HX questions, right? Does this make sense that the Water Bearer and Gunlager have been more aligned? Is the Gunlager following the laws?
we'll see in play. I think, depending on how Sugar is played, I think it would make sense.
Okay, so
But, like,
how did you then okay, then way simpler. If you fought shoulder to shoulder, why did you two fight shoulder to shoulder? What was the occasion?
I think it was fucking Rolfball, and the reason why Rolfball has a gun pointed to me at this point.
Maybe.
I don't know if you had any other ideas for Rolfball.
I mean, we can go that route.
Right.
Why did you have to fight Rolf Paul?
Because he's fucking insane.
What-
And he's fucking
did he-
Rolfball, and he's always fucking insane in every Apocalypse World game.
So Rolf Paul tried to take the source from you, or what?
I
Or-
think so. Yeah, that
Like
that
just
seems
him
like
alone?
Yeah, that seems like a Rolfball thing.
Okay, so why did you intervene, Sugar? Like, what do you care?
I don't think I do care, other than if this person, Rolf Ball, was insane, then, and this is the only source of water?
Yeah,
That-
pretty
is that
much.
correct?
Well, it's the only source of clean water, so
Yeah.
I would say that it's had less to do with Hoover, unless Hoover was Payne. But if Hoover wasn't Payne, then it was not having that valuable resource fall into someone not as desirable.
I think Hoover wasn't paying. He was like, he would have tried to handle Rothball on his own, but I think you'd intervene because it's like, it's fucking Rothball. You don't want him to get a hold of the source. You don't know what the fuck he'll do with it. So
So but okay, what communicates that Rolf Paul is so crazy? What did he fucking do that the Gunlager needed to intervene to? Because usually I would assume Hoover can handle most one-on-ones pretty well himself, right?
I think he brought a machine gun to the fight.
Okay. So what, he just walked up basically to your house and
Yeah.
and went into okay.
I mean, he just, like, right now, he just shoved an axe on Splendor, as far as I know. So I would imagine Rothball having a machine gun and just walking into the into the source and trying to murder everyone. So
Yeah, so your little family that's there, right? That's mostly it. And some occasional visitors or who buy it directly from you.
yeah.
So Sugar, why the fuck is Rolfball not dead? Why'd you let him live?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna guess.
That is a really good question.
And
I don't
Jaybird's
think-
like, don't kill him, I need him.
I don't think that. Oh well, if there was something like that going on, maybe he had something that was somebody wanted. and Jaybird is offered to have possibly been that source. So instead of him getting killed, he gets humiliated. If he had a machine gun, that's now the machine gun that my character actually is carrying, that Sugar is carrying. That is her heavy weapon.
Nice.
And then I would have dragged this Rolf Ball off to sell him for barter to Jaybird. Or whatever Jaybird was wanting.
Okay, so now
I owe
Rolf Ball
him.
is a slave.
And now you're selling him to me. That's
Oh my god. Rolf Ball is the only slave on Mars because he's fucking Rolf Ball.
Okay, so I see like a screaming Rolf for being like dragged to the refuge. And Sugar going like, here, will you take this off my hands? Will you? and Rolfball being like, what, you fucking owe me, or something like that. So you felt obliged to, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I think it was partly that Jaybird felt obliged to Rolf Ball, and also just trying to de-escalate the situation quickly, because dragging screaming Rolf Ball into refuge is not really in line with the vibe, and so was pretty willing to do whatever it was Sugar wanted to just, okay, don't kill Rolf Ball. He's my lead on food. I need him, and also, could you please go away now?
Yeah. It was a pretty meager price that you got, like, I don't know.
He's the food supplier?
A bottle of booze.
He's my food supplier, at least. Oh, yeah.
There you go. That would be it. If there wasn't already the standing agreement, that's a definite, don't kill somebody who's responsible for food. Bring him over to this person who, hi, this guy is a valuable commodity. Normally I'd kill him. But since you use him here, now give me stuff. I've saved your food supply.
Yeah, kind of a mix of what's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, it's perfect.
I have to vouch for him on some level, and also, I'll give you what you want to just.
I mean, I'm just hearing Rolf Ball is the only fucking guy who knows how to work those hydro plants, like those this perma farms that
farms, not the water supply, because Hoover knows how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody really wants to get. Yes, you can't get rid of Rolf Ball because that would suck, because then we would run out of food.
And he's clearly not eager to share the secrets, given that they are so far why Sugar hasn't killed him.
Awesome. And this is super awesome because we start at the scene where the guy who's responsible and the only one who knows how to get the food is holding a gun to the head to the guy who's the only one who knows how to get water.
Yeah.
So.
But can we do highlights before we start?
Yeah, exactly. Now we do highlights and then we do lifestyle. All
right. Lifestyle. I don't have to spend anything because I have the source, right?
Well, let's do highlights first, and then we'll see with those cheetah moves. Yeah, let's. Jaybird, who do you have the highest history with?
Mine is still with blues.
Yeah, let's see. I didn't see enough of your hot last session, so I want to know that.
Okay.
I want the hotness.
Yes.
And I'm going to highlight your... I think it's still sharp for you.
Okay.
Then blues. just go around whoever you nominate.
Yeah, Jaybird still knows me the best.
Yeah, I think I'm going to highlight your hot as well, because I know you can go hard, but I want to see you try to do anything but go hard.
I mean, I'm hot.
I
A
know
little
you're somewhat hot. It's not a
Somewhat.
bad stat for you.
I will highlight your hard. Hoover. You're muted.
Sorry. I have the same hex with everyone, so I don't know who to pick.
Well, then pick Sugar, I would say.
Yeah, Sugar, you can choose to highlight.
So, oh yeah, John, if there's like any questions, I don't know how much. I know these three have like a fair bit of experience, or at least know Apocalypse World. I'm not sure where you're at.
Pretty familiar.
Okay, cool.
This is probably the PBTA game I've played the least, but yeah, I've definitely played it some.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Rolling highlighted stats gives you XP, so. But I assume then you knew that. So you can choose for Hoover. Which stat do you want to highlight? By the way, you can also highlight history.
Oh, you can highlight hex?
Yeah.
There is no way to highlight that in the sheet, so
True, but you should have.
that's because this is the Kickstarter before the full second edition came out, so it still has.
Like I saw a version before where you were able to highlight history, but you can. So if you want to see someone help someone else,
Hoover highlighted my hard.
No, Hoover has not highlighted anything yet.
no.
Oh, okay.
You're being asked what you want to highlight for Hoover.
Oh, for Hoover. Sorry. The history thing sounds neat, but until we find how to do that, I guess I will go with. How about weird?
My worst stat. Okay, thanks.
You don't have to
you-
succeed; you just have to roll, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know.
I'll give you your cool Hoover.
Thank you.
And Sugar, who do you have the most history with?
That looks like it would be Jaybird.
Jaybird, what do you want to highlight?
Let's see what you've got.
Highlight hot. Because he has a -2 in hot.
Your hot
for
is
some
so
reason.
bad.
Your
Okay,
hot
yeah,
is so.
I've got to do that. Jaybird wants to see you not kill everybody. So, hot.
Awesome.
Ha.
All the
How do you even get a -2 in Apocalypse World? I thought you do like.
There are some
Wow.
extreme stat lines for specific playbooks, I think.
Okay, I
Yeah,
haven't
all
played on
the-
the Gunlogger, so.
I think I want to see you help someone. I'm going to highlight your history. I don't know what's a good way to mark that.
Just remember that you have
Check
history
notes,
highlighted
maybe.
for this
And
set.
you could put it in the hex notes because that's right
Yeah.
next to history.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whatever works for you.
When do you roll history?
When you want to try to help or hinder someone.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm basically saying, hey, try to interact with the other characters. Right.
Or try to help Hoover get out of this situation with Ralph Ball again.
Or do
hinder.
the opposite.
Or hinder.
Ignore Hoover and help Jaybird all the time. So,
Yeah. Okay. I think you should also have some starting barter. Yeah, you have to barter.
Right.
Because
Next.
right now there's 0. Oh yeah, well you've got it in your notes, but
Okay, so for barter, it says that I don't spend any as long as I'm in my source. I'm not currently in my source, but would it make sense that the source is near enough so I don't really have to spend that barter, or do I still spend that barter because I'm started the session outside of the source?
That's an interesting question. We could hold off until we see how the situation resolves.
Yeah, makes
to
sense.
answer it. Maybe.
Right.
If we forget it, then obviously the source is close enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do we need to read it, by the way? Yeah, at the beginning of the session, spend 1 or 2 barter for your lifestyle. If you can't or won't, tell the MC and answer her questions. So, Hoover, you're not spending any yet, it seems. Blues, are you staying on that high maintenance?
Yeah, I don't have any money, so I'm gonna not pay.
All right, so you're not going to pay.
Yeah, I think I know exactly how I'm gonna do that. I think like when he like walks up to the situation, he says, "So who's gonna pay for my dinner?" Then like put his hand on his magnum.
Yes, nice.
Wait, and this is while Rolf Paul has a gun already pointed to Hoover at the same time. Amazing.
I love how it's just like, yeah, sure, there's a gun on someone. That doesn't matter. I'm here for food.
Welcome to Apocalypse World, guys.
Okay. Jaybird, are you paying?
Jaybird doesn't have to pay.
No, as long as my establishment is in operation, I am taken care of.
Yeah, we
And
haven't
I
blown
think
it up.
everyone, everyone is in his establishment right now, so it's still
we're right. I think we're right outside, like outside of
the. We got the astronaut out because bleeding on my floors is against the rules. But
okay.
Yes, against your rules, not against the law. If anything,
in the refuge, my rules are law.
Okay, cool.
How about you, sure? Are you paying for your lifestyle?
I am paying.
Okay. 1?
Just 1.
Go. Cool. Yeah, I don't think anyone has any beginning of session moves. If I remember correctly, right? Okay.
I only have when I break the law and then my other 2 moves. Or when someone breaks the law, not when I break the law. That would be silly.
All right. Yeah, then we cut in on the scene, and it was Jaybird, and who was with you? Who was trying to help help Splendor?
I was helping Splendor, but then Rolf put a fucking gun to my head.
Yeah, it was me and Bah, my best customer. We're hauling Splendor out when all of a sudden the water bearer showed up, and then also Rolf Ball.
Yeah, there's still an axe and the back of Splendor, and Splendor's back. Splendor is dressed in an astronaut suit. We can tell this. For everyone else, it's a weird outfit. Yeah, Hoover was just rushing up to check on, like, do people think or suspect that Splendor is your kid?
I
They
think
kind of-
people are aware that he is my kid. Like everyone fucking knows it.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't fuck with Splendor, really. Or
Yeah.
only Rolf Ball would think of it. So I was not surprised when Rolf Ball showed up.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a situation where like probably tunnel vision, you see that Splendor's been hurt, you run up, right? And suddenly you hear the cocking of a gun and feel it pressed against the back of your head. Now here's the question: how are Blues and Sugar situated to this entire thing? You can basically tell me wherever you are. Like I know Blues was kind of walking up to that.
With a bloody rock.
Mm.
Because he took the bloody rock at the end of that scene.
Yeah, and I think he still has like some blood splatter on his face from the guy smashing the rock right in front of him.
Yeah,
and like that's like exactly like how it goes. Like he walks up, and I think you hear like the cocking of the gun of Rolf Ball, and then you hear like the cocking of the gun of Blues, and he says like, "So who's paying for my dinner?"
Walking up in the same kind of area. No, I actually have been a nondescript patron of the refuge, I think, and coming from the other direction, following the dragging body. So that would be behind Jaybird, Ba, and they're dragging Splendor in the spacesuit, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be like a disinterested party following them. However, I look a lot more interested now that guns have come out. And I will answer that guy. I will answer Blue's question. The man with the food is the man with the gun.
I think actually that makes me look over at Rolf Ball.
Yeah, and Rolf Ball is crying and shaking and pressing the gun against Hoover's head, like pretty uncomfortably, and saying like, "You're gonna pay for this. Any beef you had with me, why did you have to take it out on Frankie?"
Wait, what?
You can. You want to read him, Blues? Is that what you're trying to do, or the situation?
Who's pointing a gun at who at this point?
This is Rolf Ball pointing the gun at you.
Yeah, but like, what do I have to do with Frankie?
I don't know.
No, like I'm gonna. Well, actually, what I'm gonna say is, I did not break the law. Settle your grievances privately by trial and ordeal. You're breaking the law right now.
Okay.
So I will, if that's enough of a reason to do Lawbringer, I will roll that.
Yeah, wait a second before you roll, because Blues was taking stock of Rolf Ball, right? So it sounds like you wanna read him or the situation, or.
I mean, I'm still waiting for someone to answer. I guess I could roll to manipulate him if no one else wants to take me up on my offer. Like that's what I was angling for. Either someone saying yes of the players, or just saying that,
yes,
or just like making him.
Yeah. When you show up and do that, so who's going to pay for my dinner? Jaybird still like trying to prop up this astronaut. Jaybird is not a beefy sort of guy. Says, I'll give you whatever you want if you just make this go away.
Yeah, and I don't read the situation. Definitely, that's not the thing. That's not highlighted. It's that it just like points the gun at Rolf Ball and it's just like, you like your head, and then you see like this big like this huge like Magnum gun with like this. I think you probably see like the shot coming from like you see like the face of Blues, and then like this big gun, and you hear like the click.
Yeah, so you're going aggro, and you are taking bringing Lawbringer. Can you read Lawbringer for us, Maria? That would be.
When someone breaks your law, roll plus cool, and then which I have highlighted. So let me do that. Actually,
Well,
I can.
Don't
Oh,
roll
sorry.
yet. Just read the.
You let in a 10+ choose. You let them off with a warning, reduce penalty or reprieve. You make an exception for them, or they must face the full penalty. On a 7 to 9, they must face the full penalty. On a miss, or if you are unable to enact judgment for any reason, responsibility falls to you, and you must face the penalty yourself.
What are the laws again?
The laws are offer sacrifices of blood, don't touch what isn't yours, keep your agreements, and settle your grievances privately by trial and ordeal. This is not private, so therefore Ralph Paul is breaking the law.
Yeah, and that is what you were calling out, right? Settle
Yeah.
your grievances in private.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the punishment for not doing that?
My list of punishments is execution, disfigurement, or 2 enter 1 leaves.
Okay, interesting. Cool. But at the same time, Blues is going aggro on Rothball here.
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
So do you want me to roll again, or use the thing that I rolled by
No,
accident?
we'll like let this stand.
All right. So they must face the full penalty because I rolled a 9.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
Well, we'll see if we get to that. Like if
I mean,
blows the head off, like
if Blues blows his head off, then he just faced the full penalty regardless. So because that's execution, that is one of the penalties.
Yep.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I'm cool with that. Let's just have like the Lawbringer kind of roll first, and then I think maybe when I hear like
no, wait a second. I don't know how Rolfball reacts to this entire situation.
Cool.
And that's what you're engaging with, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go aggro. Let's see. Find my highlighted button. Yep.
They have to choose force your hand and suck it up, or cave and do what you want.
Yeah.
What is it that you want what you want Rolfball to do, by the way?
I want him to get the fucking gun down because and get out of here because that's what Jaybird said I should do to get food.
Yeah, I think he like through his tears looks at you and I think like completely deflates, right? Like his arms go down, like the gun drops to the ground and he like sinks onto his knees. And I think this is when Hoover, like, you slowly turn around, and how does this work now? Like, you kind of pronounce judgment already, or?
I think at this point, whoever will say, you're gonna have to face punishment. Would you? Which one would you rather have? And I think he knows what the punishments are, because I think everyone knows it.
Oh, you're letting him choose?
Execution, disfigurement, or 2 enter 1 leaves.
Jaybird is gonna break in and say, like, could we just let this go for once? Clearly everyone's thinking very hot here. We need to maybe just chill a little and get this away from my door.
Yes, we can do that. Rolf Paul, come with me.
No, I need him. Okay, no killing Rolf Ball.
Very well. I will do the one that isn't it doesn't involve killing then. So I basically grab Rothball with me and disfigure him.
Wait, right here, right now?
Or no,
Or
drag
are you
him to a
taking him?
private place and disfigure him.
Okay. So you're dragging him off at
Yeah.
the moment. Okay. Okay. Sugar, how are you? Like, you're watching all this? Seems like the new social rules are working out fine, or well, in effect. Is that correct?
Oh, I wouldn't say fine, but she's dragging the food source off, and I don't think that she understands his important.
He.
Oh, sorry, he. Have to remember your characters. Hoover, right?
Yeah, Hoover.
Yeah, Hoover's dragging off the food source, so you can't mess with them too much. So I'm kind of concerned. However, at the same time, he dropped his gun. Looks like a free gun. So I will go pick the gun up off of the ground and watch. How far away is the water source, the source? I mean, how much dragging is involved here?
Quite a bit. Like, it's definitely a walk. Like the refuge is maybe not dead center, but kind of center in the settlement, and the water the water plant is kind of at the edge against the cliffside that's kind of protecting it. That's where it's built into. So it's kind of like Hoover dragging this guy through the dirt up the hill.
I'm gonna fast walk after them. Hey, Hoover.
Yes.
Wasn't everybody there involved with a public, whatever your rules are? They all looked really public to me. So
Yes.
how about I start disfiguring everybody? You were there too, right? So I disfigure you, or do you want to enter? What? How's that work?
It works because he did not.
No, it's like you want execution, or you want to fight me to go in, you die. That's execution too. So I just disfigure you.
Let me.
I'm following your rules, right? That's what I'm just going to follow your rules.
I am settling this grievance privately.
I'm right here. It's not private.
What is? Let
Why
me.
don't you
Let me
give
speak.
Guy?
Let me speak. God damn it.
Okay, speak.
Rothball had a problem with me. He did not settle this. He decided to make it public. That's why I'm disfiguring him. You have a problem with me, and now you are screaming about it. That's and so out of character. Is this still like with everyone in sight?
It's kind
I
of
walked
off
after you.
Yeah. You have agreements with me, and you're settling this privately because Rothball here isn't gonna say anything. I'm guessing, and
yeah, 3 people
I
is not public, right?
Yeah,
Look,
right.
all I'm saying, this guy is really important. You're really important. I'm just nobody. But I do have a gun. I have a gun if you want as a treat. Just give me this guy. Let me do the disfiguring. You guys don't need to have bad blood. You have the water. He has the food.
Okay.
Why don't you have a peace?
1 second. What does Sugar want out of this? Is Sugar proposing, hey, let me be your like executioner, your enforcer? So you don't have to get your hands dirty, or?
I'm trying to get Rolf ball away from her, because
Him.
I don't know him. I don't exactly know what Hoover's disfigurement is going to be, and
I'm just gonna cut his face so it's visible.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I
We
don't.
don't. Yeah.
I don't
I'm-
know what it's going to be.
I told you, like, I'm telling you right now.
But this this kind of does sound like, this actually sounds like Sugar is trying to manipulate. You kind of trying to fast talk Hoover.
Yeah.
That is. I am trying to fast talk.
To be like,
asked-
yeah, let's actually do the thing that you want to
Yeah.
have done, but let me do it.
All right. So roll hard, I guess. Him?
Yeah, and wait a second before you do.
No, I'm not rolling. It's John who's
Yes.
rolling.
I mean, also, John, wait a second, don't roll yet.
Sure thing.
It's seduce or manipulate someone. When you try to seduce, manipulate, bluff, fast talk, or lie to someone, tell them what you want them to do, give them a reason, and roll plus hot. Question here is, do you want to help or interfere with this, Hoover? Or are
I
you
am going
so
to
side?
interfere. I am
So
going
you-
to interfere
okay.
with this.
Then you'll roll your HX that you have with Sugar. And we'll see
Uh,
how this
that
turns
is a
out.
4. That's a 4 on a miss. I mean, on helping or interfering rather.
Yep. And the seduce and manipulate roll from Sugar.
Another 4.
Okay. So yes, you get into this legal argument as you're trying to drag Rolf Ball up, right? And I think we'll take a break here, and like this is heated. I think there's this very basic thing that neither of you is actually completely getting what the other wants. And we'll see what this leads to after a break. So let's take until 2011. All right.
Alrighty.
Blues has a theme song now, by the way. I find, of course, I did something productive today.
What do you have?
A theme song
Oh,
for
a theme
Blues.
song. Oh yeah, we forgot to listen to the. Yeah, it's of course.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah. One point of order that I forgot in the beginning is time for the session. So because in the actual thing I wrote 3.5 hours. Is that actually all right for everybody, or yeah, for you
I'm
too?
gonna have the same issue every week, but it's not really an issue because my game isn't until 8. Well, if 3 hours after it's supposed, well, 2.5 hours after it's supposed to end. So
Yeah.
and I don't have as much of a rush to finish because I do have every session planned, or at least the prep done. So
Okay. And for you too, Mikael, with your tomorrow. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Like I basically put in 3.5 hours because to make it easier on myself. Yep. Okay. So there's a couple of things that are kind of happening simultaneously. But I want to know so who in your gang, Blues, is like the person who, I mean, who's like the runner, right? Who would like get a message around or come calling for someone or something like that?
Let's see. We can find a good name for a runner. I'm gonna call him twice.
Nice. Not because it or what pronouns?
Because I always have to say things to him twice.
Okay. Yes. It doesn't then take twice as long, but yeah, you've got to tell them twice. That's great. So you definitely like you hear the commotion from up above a little bit as like some yells get heated. And at the same time you see two other things. You see twice come like running up towards the group of you who are still at the refuge, right? Then suddenly Splendor with the axe and his back starts moving, like pushing himself up, right? You were like just trying to get it clear. And the third thing that's happening is as Rolfball is making a run for it. What do you all do?
As soon as Rolfal starts making a run for it, I will chase him.
Okay, so you go running afterwards to
Yeah.
chase him. Yeah. How about you? What are you doing?
I think I look over to Jaybird when like Splendor starts moving, and shrug my shoulders.
Yeah, when Splendor starts, struggling upright, he's kind of pushing against me, and I'm already struggling to get under the weight, so I'm stumbling a little bit. Whoa, whoa, hey, still an axe in your back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Splendor doesn't speak, just reminder.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jaybird is fully aware of this, and yet talks at him normally, and just kind of leaves these pauses where there's no response.
Yep.
I will join Hoover in his pursuit.
Okay. Yes. So this actually sounds like Hoover. You're going to hunt the prey. When you're the cat, roll plus cool.
Yay.
And it sounds like Sugar is actually helping with that.
Sugar is actually helping.
Okay. Think about what that looks like. Don't roll yet, please. But get ready to roll.
I am looking for the move that...
It's when you're the cat, roll plus cool.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
It's under subterfuge. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's get you the role of both of you on the table, and then we'll see what's happening with Splendor, which is a little bit slower paced.
Sugar, you wanna roll first because you're helping? And that affects my roll.
Yep.
Alright, so that's a +1.
Yep.
Alright.
Remember to mark XP.
Hey, and I mark XP as well.
Nice. We'll see what that actually looks like in a moment, but yeah, like Splendor is like writing himself up, kind of with like a rigid feel, but that could just be because of this freaking spacesuit, astronaut suit that he's wearing, right? It still has the axe like poking out of his back, and you hear like a low rumbling from the back of his throat or something, and he turns and there's like steps. He starts walking. Twice is coming up and shouting something to the west, to the west. We've got a sighting.
Sighting of fucking what twice?
Fucking something, I guess, big.
Calm down, Twice. What the fuck is it to the west? I'm hungry. I'm supposed to eat dinner now. You better say it right this time.
It's just it's big, it's moving, and it's heading here. Right here. I think.
Well then.
What do you do, Jaybird, with like Splendor starting to walk?
I'm letting go because, okay, sure, if he's going to walk around with an axe in his back, that's up to him, I suppose. And trying to... I can see what's going on here. I'm not sure if I'm like if that's a charged enough sitch that I'm reading it or anything, but I'm trying to see how much trouble is involved in this twice and blues thing.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely sounds more like you're not concerned about Splendor. You're concerned about the situation.
Yeah, Splendor's apparently okay, so not my problem anymore.
And Hoover just left them, so
Yeah.
I guess it's fine.
Girly Hoover's not that worried.
There's still like a couple of people around, and like this has drawn attention, right? If like, and it does draw attention if the water guy and the food guy go head to head. That's a problem for everybody. So word has gotten around, and people are aware and on notice. So you, yeah, definitely read a charged situation here, because there might be things to notice. So you get one
7.
question, I think.
And I get to mark experience. Hooray.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with what should I be on the lookout for?
Mm-hmm. I think as you like as you let your eyes wander around like the gathered crowd and the a couple of people who've like come out to see what all the fuss is about and stuff, you see off to the side, you see Artemis, and I actually have a picture of her which I can show. You see Artemis talking to, like, what she's doing is basically she's like talking to like a group of 3 people who is with I think it's like Jeanette and Toyota, who are standing there, and she's kind of leaning in, and she says something to them, points in the general direction of where you're standing, where all the fuss was, right? And looks at them, and they like look up, look back to her, and they kind of nod and have like a thoughtful expression on their faces. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show Artemis. And Blues, you're taking twice. You're leading twice away to tell you the details, or I think what becomes apparent is like, well, we might need to get somewhere higher up to have a good look.
Yeah, sure. I want to see my gang. It's time.
Yeah. Where you housed, or where you're like, what is? Oh, wait, let's get to that in a moment. And I was looking for the picture. There we go. Down here, this is Artemis. All right. Meanwhile, Hoover went on to chase down Rolf Ball. Rolf Ball is definitely like in panic, rabbit mode, trying to shake you, right? Like running as fast as he can, trying to like duck quickly between two buildings, run through a little courtyard, that kind of thing. But on a hit, you catch your prey out. On a 10 plus, you've driven them first to a place of your choosing. Say where. And how is Sugar helping here? Like, how are you like? How's Sugar providing assistance here? I kind of want to know. But maybe let's hear where you want to have driven him first. Hoover, you get to say where you've driven Rolf Ball when you catch him.
Sorry, people are messaging me even though I'm in a game. So right outside the source, there's like a private area where I do all the punishments. So I basically driven him there.
Oh, you thought you managed to drive him actually where you would have taken him anyways?
Well, yeah, I mean, I got a 10 plus because.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. I'm like, I like it. How did Sugar help here? Like, did you like always be like, well, you can also take that route, but then he sees Sugar and he has to turn the worst one?
Right. That's basically Sugar would be providing the flanking as she's driving him. I would be doing the well. That's over there. Choose which way you're going.
Yeah. So as Hoover, as you're, are you being like, how does this look? Is Hoover like being menacing, striding forward?
I'm chasing him with my hunting rifle, so
there's even shots going off.
Yeah, there's even shots going off.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's. Are you yelling after him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and is Sugar more like the menacing presence that suddenly turns around a corner, or are you also like being?
Sugar's not being loud. She's running, but I'm definitely armed and carrying weapons, but she doesn't shout or anything like that. So that's.
Well, I think when Rolf Ball kind of like looks around, like, and it's like, and like he realizes, fuck, okay, that he ran straight into where you would have probably dragged him anyways. Is this place kind of known? This like
it is
backyard
known.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he like whips around and I assume like the only exit is kind of blocked off by the both of you.
All right. I'm gonna make this easy for you, Rolf Ball, and I shoot his leg.
Okay. Where do you shoot his leg?
Shoot him like in a place that he would have to be amputated.
Okay, like shattering his knee.
Yeah, shatter his knee or something.
Or
yeah.
the bone of Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that shot. Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. Like, there's no roll here. You do that, right? Probably like stepping very close and lowering your rifle and just pull the trigger, and he like drops as if been like cut down, right? There's like the nasty splintering sound of bones shattering, and he just drops and is a crying, weeping mess on the floor.
So I tell Sugar, if he's important, you can take care of him. I'm gonna go see Splendor now. And
Thanks, boss. You done fucked up now, Rolf Ball. Could have had a cool scar. All the chicks would have dug you. Now you're limpy.
Nice.
I will do my best to bandage him, although I'm no medic, to see about dragging him off to a medic if there is one.
I thought we established that there's no medic because Splendor went to the refuge.
Yeah. We don't
Who knows?
really
Maybe
have-
Splendor really wanted a burger while bleeding out. You know,
I know, right?
I don't judge.
So yeah, I'm gonna go find Splendor again.
Yeah. Do you say something to your wife? Like that she obviously heard is probably looking in
Yeah.
on the backyard, on the courtyard or something through a window or something,
Just-
right?
Like I tell her it's fucking Rothball again. I'm gonna go find Splendor.
I mean, obviously,
It's fucking
you can
Roth.
see him like lying on the floor there, bleeding.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So, Sugar, you're trying to tend to him while you Hoover head back into town.
I'm guessing if that makes sense, Gage would also help with attending to people after Hoover shoots them, because this tends to happen, and it would make sense for her to be like the one who like makes sure people don't die when they don't have to.
I mean, do you have that? Do you like?
I mean, I don't have her as a medic, I'm just
but-
asking. Like,
Do you think you would have like stuff like bandages or something like that?
I don't. Gage might.
I mean, it's also like a thing, an item, like the angel kit.
Yeah, like she's not gonna be an angel, but like I'm asking if she can be like a nurse per se for the people I shoot who aren't sentenced to execution.
I don't know, because that is something special, right?
It's okay to say no, but my point, my
I was more
character
getting at: Are you willing to offer up a one bar? Saying yes, there are some supplies in your household.
Oh, okay, sure.
used.
I can offer. I have more than enough barter because hey, Waterbringer. So I will
Yeah. So
spend barter to have
like,
that.
it's cool that Gage helps here. Gage comes out, running out with like a couple of supplies, like a little bit of like bandage or whatever you tend to use here as bandages, right?
I do tell her that to amputate him to make sure it's visible. So because
yeah, we'll see in a moment here. I want to see what stuff looks like with blues, where like, do you actually have a lookout tower that kind of gives you like a view over the immediate surroundings a little bit more?
I mean, I don't have a lookout tower. I'm not the guard of this place. I'm just happen to be the only one who cares about the thing moving towards the place while I'm running around shooting people in the knees and eating burgers. But no, I think my gang is probably like they were staying in like a warehouse pretty much. It's all emptied out, and it's like the door is just out to outside the dome.
Yeah. So is this a scene where we see you like stepping out of the dome and like to have a look at what they say is coming?
I think maybe it's like me coming into the warehouse and you see like my 15 people like probably like preparing already because they're professional.
Yeah, I think they know something might be up, and so everybody's kind of up. There's not a real like thing there yet. They're like looking expectantly at you, and who'd be, I don't know, who acts kind of like a quartermaster here for you, like in general, like who kind of keeps keeps an eye out for how high or low you're running on fuel and parts and that kind of stuff.
I think a baby is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pronouns.
Woman. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, she's I think she's coming in from the outside, right? Like shivering and like pulling like some protective warmth gear for warmth and stuff like off, and is like clearly disgusted for having had to go out, right? And it's like yeah, I don't know what it is. Oh, hey boss, something's coming from, well, I guess two things are coming from the west, it looks like.
Well, I'm sure it's not company for dinner. And he like touches his tummy, and he says, "So, yeah, load up, brothers. Let's meet them."
I mean that
Whatever it is.
they seem to be so far out. It's if I'm any guess, it's big, but very far away still. Maybe you want to have a look.
Okay, I think I like motion to open the door. And I think it like brings up. I think I'm just gonna say like, bring me the looking glass, and maybe that's
Yeah,
yeah, fucking thieves.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Nice. What does it do on it? Or maybe read it for us, so we have an idea.
What the move is?
Yeah, the move and the result.
When you have your gang, search their pockets and saddlebags for something. Roll plus hard. It has to be something small enough to fit. On a 10 plus, one of you happens to have just the thing or close enough.
Yeah. So they knew this is like right. That's already prepared. I think they've like have it, and so is it like a looking glass? Would you imagine this is something stranger and fancier?
Yeah, I think it is. It is. It's like one of those. It looks a bit like one of those. I mean, it's like one of those one eye thing that you like extend.
Okay.
But it's definitely like not like current tech. It is a little like it is probably like from like the Mars expedition that was here.
Oh, it's like an actual like kind of telescope that was once not to be used like by a human, but by like a machine. That, but it's been, yeah. I think someone has to like actually stand there and present their shoulder as a resting thing. While you stand like 2 meters behind them and like going on their shoulder like that. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So you notice two things. Like one thing immediately, the horizon looks different. It looks like, and not just at one spot, but over like a super wide range in the west. It's darker, like a way deeper reddish, big, ominous cloud, it seems. So like some kind of weather phenomenon that's heading, at least right now, this way. And in front of this, someone, you notice something else, and that is actually like not they don't seem to be running right from it, but they're trying to keep it at a distance, and they're heading generally in this direction. And it's like a huge relentless beast of a vehicle, wide wheels, like a kind of think like I don't know. Do you know Mass Effect's Mako? Like that kind of like wide, way too big wheels, right? And heading here, but it's with the eye, it's like a super small dot on the horizon, and it's like super far out still. Like they won't be here today. Like they won't come here by today or by night, or they're still quite a ways out.
Yeah, I think I like I have a few different things I could do. It would be fun to see like how Blues opens his brain. I think Blues like takes down his the thing he always like wears in front of his mouth and exposes his like breathing to the air outside.
And the air outside is like thinner, right? It seems like so it doesn't have any substance to it.
And I think he when he takes like down the looking glass, he takes down his sunglasses, and he like stands there for a little bit, and I'm gonna try to open my brain, just like in Maelstrom.
Nice. You want to read it for us, because it's the first time it happens in this game?
When you open your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom, roll plus weird. On a hit, the MC tells you something new and interesting about the current situation, and might ask you a question or two. Answer them. Yeah, and we can see what results.
Yep.
Oh wow!
Nice. Wow.
Well, on a 10 plus, the MC gives you good detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you know what's out there, or in sense, you know what the landscape is out there. So I think you'll, as you take this in, as you think about it, as you see it, you will know very clearly when the point of arrival would be when they come here. How does this, like, can you describe a little bit what the psychic maelstrom feels to Blues? What it's like for your character?
I mean, I think it's. It is like we talked about in the first session. Like you get like a bit hallucinogenic. The air has that effect outside.
Yeah.
And I think like how Bruce sees it is like when he's on his bike and like the air around is like blurry, and there's like weird. Can be some. I think he's like riding his bike. Like he gets his eyes rolls back. You don't see it because he has sunglasses on, and he like sees himself on his bike, on the red sand.
Yeah, and I think you also know what kind of vehicle this is. This is a huge. I think you've seen its wreckage at the graveyard before. It's a Goliath of a vehicle. It's meant to haul big big things. Can carry like up to 12 people inside or something like that. Probably more if you want to cram it up. And it's, yeah. I mean, it's definitely stunning that there are people coming or must be coming. You assume it must be people driving this thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he just like takes off his thing on his face again and like turns around to baby and it's like close the door and there's like whistles to twice tell Hoover that there's something coming. I'm going for dinner.
Yeah. Nice. Let's have a look at poor Rolf Ball and Sugar and what's his name? Sorry, and Gage.
Gage is a she.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's your wife, right? Yes. And Gage. So Hoover's wife comes like running out with like a couple of supplies. You have this Rolf Ball guy on the ground, kind of bleeding out. What do, Sugar? Do you amputate or try to amputate as Hoover wanted to have happen? Or what's your plan here with Rolf Ball?
Well, I will look to Gage, and do you know how to amputate a leg?
Well, I mean, cut it off.
I got that part.
I assume, like,
I mean-
interrupt me here, Maria, right? If you think this a little different, but she probably has like the bandages stuff, but she's also got a saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she like put pressure on it, cut it off, and make sure he doesn't bleed out from that part.
Okay, so Gage starts working on it.
Okay, I will assist her. I'm definitely not squeamish, but
Okay.
I would just assume that Gage would be more skilled at this than Sugar.
Yeah, all of this gives us the fictional positioning for Rolf Ball to potentially survive at all. This is an act under pressure. Or do something under fire. That's what it, yeah. The fire is Rolf Ball, like, having to be amputated. So that would be when you do something under fire or dig into endure fire, roll plus cool for Sugar. Or do you have a thing there where you get to roll plus hard?
I do have a thing there, so I roll plus hard.
So, big question here, though. What does it look like in this situation to not roll plus cool, but plus hard?
In this case, I think it is battle hardened, so it's probably not my first rodeo. But since there's no cool, it's probably like ruthlessly like, here, let me use the saw, and it's just wham, that leg is gone. Like, no mercy, no like chilling him out or anything like that. Just get the leg gone as quickly as possible, cinch the leg up, and then let her do the finer details.
Yeah, like Rolf Ball gets handled like a piece of meat.
Yes.
Well, that's yes. Let's see the roll. Yep.
Snake eyes plus. You had one job.
Snake eyes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oops.
Well, yeah. Let's. This takes a while, right? And I think you do the job. You bandage him up. Like, I mean, it didn't take like, it took just the first two like he was under and unconscious like almost immediately from shock. So when you're done with it all, you look down and it's a bloody mess, but it is done. He's still out of it.
But is he alive? That's the question.
We'll see. That's a good question. Like, not as far as you can tell, but you're no doctor. Someone goes into shock, they're in shock.
Yeah.
You might just consider them dead either way.
Well, Hoover isn't there, so.
Yeah, Hoover isn't there. Hoover's heading to the refuge, right?
Yes, to see what Splendor is doing. Or how he's doing, so. Oh, there.
Yeah. Blues is also heading to the refuge.
I forgot Splendor's pronouns. I think that it's they, them. I'm not sure.
I
Maybe
think
it's he.
Splendor is he.
No, Splendor is he. That is true.
Yeah. I wrote on he. Yeah, so well, Jaybird, what is like, I don't know, I don't care who comes gets there first. But maybe what are you doing after all this excitement a moment ago?
Well, as things clear, saying to Kettle, my trusted bouncer, that every fucking day, I go back and make sure that somebody's tidying up any blood that Splendor may have gotten on the floors and letting Bob go back to his food. I'm going to give him a free drink for helping out.
So is that somebody you?
Hmm?
Is that somebody you at the end of the day that needs to?
Probably it is. Yeah, me, because other people have stuff to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, grab a mop or something.
So whoever gets there first finds you where? Still outside or inside?
Back inside, sort of in the middle of the room, probably, because I don't think Splendor got too far in before falling over.
Yeah, and you're like cleaning up that spot.
Yeah.
Making doubly sure it's all good and nice again. So who comes first?
Not sanitizing really, but just getting it up so it's not going to stain.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. Is Splendor still in the vicinity of the refuge?
Nobody. Who knows? Right, there's no one. Are you, when you come to the refuge outside, you don't see any sign of Splendor.
And he's not inside, definitely.
Well, you have to go inside to check.
All right, I'll go inside.
Jaybird just looks up from his mopping and says, "And now what do you want?"
Where's Splendor?
I don't know. He took off walking, and I wasn't going to stop him. Seemed like he knew where he was going.
And then I leave and look for Splendor.
Yeah, and as you leave, you run into Blues. So like turn around, go outside, you almost run into each other.
All right. Blues, yeah.
I think unless like whoever stops me, like
I think I'm not gonna try to stop you. Yeah, I think he goes right by unless
like
Blues is gonna stop me.
Passing in the hallway, like.
Yeah, you're like, nothing's keeping you from your dinner. Twice is gonna tell Hoover the news anyway. You're not going to be the one to tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm too busy looking for Splendor to actually give a shit right now. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, you head in. Blues.
Yeah, I think when I see like Jaybird like mopping up the blood and like fuck all over your floor.
I know, right? He just came in, fell down, axe in his back. I have no idea what's going on, and I don't want to know.
Yeah, I think Blues actually says like fucking savages, and then like sits down at the stall.
And Jaybird, still mopping, calls into the back. Give him whatever he wants, and
Yeah,
probably.
and yeah, like Partridge pokes his head out from the kitchen. The huge Blues.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. And
Don't have to
you
ask
hear
again.
like some sizzling thing going on. So yeah, so Jaybird, remember to pay for the one butter for lifestyle, right? For Blues.
Oh yeah, because I am comping his food.
Unless there's still a contention there, but didn't sound like it.
No. Does this count as hooking someone up with food?
Oh yes.
Also, because I don't have a sex move, I have a giving people stuff move.
Well, yes.
But it's
But yeah, that triggers
Maybe-
the sex move.
Yeah, maybe you want to read it for
Sure,
everybody.
let me
what your sex
look
move
that
is.
back
Special
up, 'cause I don't
move.
move that onto this sheet. Okay. If you hook another character up with sex, with food, with something, whatever, it counts as having sex with them.
So this triggers the special move of the chopper. What does that do?
Yeah, what is that? Let's see. I mean,
I have it open right now. It says if you and another character have sex, they immediately change their sheet to say hex +3 with you. They also choose whether to give you -1 or +1 to your hex with them on your sheet.
cool.
Okay.
Oh, I already have hex +3 with him.
So you basically give Blues a -1 or a +1.
I'll do a +1.
Awesome.
Okay. So what does
me an XCP?
Oh, so reset it to +1 and
yeah.
get an XP? Okay.
Yeah.
So you two maybe think about for a moment what this means in the fiction, because this sounds like definitely something where Jaybird like slides in when you're like finished with a drink or something, and there's definitely something happening between you two, right? But let's first check in on Hoover. Yeah. So you're like out. You're going out, and you're like trying to look all over town. Or do you have a method where you're looking for, or?
I think my method is recalling where Splendor, like where he usually goes when he's up wandering in town. So, basically trying to figure out where would he be at this point.
Well, so Splendor is fucking weird, right? If you want to
Yeah,
get the
Splendor-
sense where he's going, is this something you, as his dad, pay attention to? Or is this something where you're trying to get in the headspace of Splendor? Because this might be an opening your brain.
It could be. I'm not opposed to that.
But maybe describe what this looks like, because if it is that way, then it's more erratic and definitely not as like methodical.
Yeah, I
asking people.
think I just try to think hard on how Splendor works, and that opens my brain to the psychic maelstrom. Because his head is always open, to a degree, I guess. So this is going to turn out splendidly. Oh, partial. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, let me look at open. It's an impression.
Yeah. So what does this feel like, getting into the headspace of your son? First of all, because
Well, since it's literally opening my mind to the psychic maelstrom, I think I kind of understand him better, and his reasoning and why he doesn't talk or wears a spacesuit like all the time.
Yeah.
So it feels soothing to a degree because now I can get him better.
Yeah, and you get a feel for him, and I think there's something like at the edge of your perception where it's like you feel something that he must have always felt that is there. And you're trying to follow that and
Yeah.
feel where he must have gone. And I think there is I think you suddenly find yourself at like the edge of the dome, and that kind of like pulls you back in. You're like, whoa, wait. And there's like the dome has like these bigger and smaller they're not really doors, they're more like actual like portcullis or something like that, right? And this one is open, and you're pretty sure that's where your son went. I mean, you're certain because you can see like the behind it in the dust and of the and the sand and the red sand, you see the footsteps leading away like down
All right.
over the crest of some dune.
I'm gonna grab my gear for when, or do I have any gear for going outside other than the spacesuit that Splendor has?
I mean,
If not, I can just spend barter, right?
yeah, you might have needed to get something like that because going outside of the dome is kind of a thing. Like, I'm fine with you like being like, yeah, I go a couple of paces outside, but if you actually want to like go
Yeah, I'm gonna look for Splendor, like gonna go out to look for Splendor. So
Yeah.
I will spend barter then, if that's what the requirement is, right?
Yeah, I think that makes most sense here.
So I think what's going on is I'm gonna go spend barter to get the stuff. I'm gonna stop by the source and tell Gage that he went outside the fucking dome, so I'm gonna go look for him.
Okay.
And then I'll go
So
out.
before you like return, let's find out what's up with Sugar. Who you're like staring down at the mess that was Rolf Ball, and you're like, well, so that like the only guy who knows how to work those perma farms seems very dead to you.
Does he have family, kin, anybody that helps him?
Well, I mean, his lover recently died out in the waste. Frankie. The thing is,
Frankie.
you don't really know because it says so nicely on your sheet, right? You find no particular need to understand most people. So maybe friends, probably, right? I mean, he's the guy with food. Some people must have like worked with him or for him, or maybe knows something.
Is Gage still tending to him, or has she decided that he now at this point is compost?
Yeah, she's like, and here's a general question: when someone dies, what happens to the body? What do you do with it here? Is it put into actual like compost?
I think it is compost
yeah.
because for our plants, we probably need some earth bacteria kind of stuff, which occurs in people more naturally than Martian soil.
Yeah. So I think Gage is
It's a valuable resource.
Yeah, Gage has like her hand in front of her mouth, standing like leaning up against the corner, has like returned like washed her hands, and is like, well, I guess one last trip to his perma farm, because obviously that's where the compost, whatever containers are.
Is that outside the dome?
No, that's inside. That's part of the settlement.
Okay. It looks like it.
Okay.
I'm not taking him though, so I just get up and like wipe my hands on my pants, and I will walk off to I don't know. I think at this point to drink to my eventual starvation.
I mean, it's Gage is like, hey, wait a second, you're gonna take him away, right? Like Hoover said, you're gonna take care of him, and I guess now he's gotta go. She says, like from kind of a safe distance, not like going in on you in any manner threatening. More like, hey, you're gonna take him away, right?
Heavy sigh.
I mean, you're
I
like
grab him.
like thinking. I mean, yeah, it might also be a bad kind of side to be the one dragging the guy who was responsible for the food through the entire settlement for everybody to see. So, like, that thought is like, that's probably also a motivation why you actually didn't want to take him. Because it's a bad
I
look.
figured that let them clean up their own mess. But in this case, I will pick him up, throw him over the shoulder, and like a rough fireman's. Again, I don't really care about him, so
Yeah, no.
It's not treating him reverently. Sorry, Rolf Ball. So boom, over the shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and then like pick up his foot in the other hand and like go walking off, kind of like swinging the foot, almost like club, idly, not thinking about it, as I take him over to his farm.
And yeah, and Gage is like, thanks, sugar. And she like, God, slinks into actually back into the building. Yeah. How are we looking on time? Okay.
How hard can farming be?
So
On Mars.
Don't discourage me.
It's gonna be another act under fire, like carrying all across town the corpse of Rolf Ball. I want to see how the settlement reacts to that. So, yeah, for you that's hard again, right? So it's not likely that anybody wants to touch you, but you're gonna get seen. You muted.
Sugar hasn't rolled yet, so
Yeah, I was responding to the being muted.
Yeah, let's get the roll on the table. We'll
Yeah, I'm trying to see where I'm hitting that roll button. Ah, there it is. And it wasn't showing up. That's at least a success this time.
Yep. At least that. Okay. Yeah, but meanwhile, back at the refuge, what's like happening between you two?
Yeah, I think probably like Blues is just like sitting, eating, and like. Do you come when you finish mopping the blood?
Yeah, Jaybird finishes mopping up, puts the mop away, and just kind of slides onto the stool next to Blues. With Blues is a regular. He's my favorite. I know what he drinks, but just kind of glass of whatever that is, and slide it over to him. And yet, that is not what I meant, and I know you know that. But thanks for taking care of it.
Yeah, I think you see like Blues, like he leans like back in the stall, and like breathes like a deep, like, oh yes, my drink, and like looks over to Jaybird and says, I mean, I'm full and happy, and this is pretty much the only place that gives me this kind of peace.
That's what I'm here for.
And then he like, I think it's probably like, I mean, I'm sure it's like a brown liquor, but I think there's like these, these red cocktail fruits in it that he likes. These berries that are on a lot of like in Manhattans, for example, and I think he like takes it off and like bites off it and says, if I've been thinking maybe it's time I took control of this place. It's a fucking mess.
The last thing I want is open war with Hoover. He's a lunatic, but we got to have him. I mean, who knows what's up with the food now? I can't lose the water too. If you do it, you got to actually win here.
I don't know. I think I'd rather just, be on my bike with my guys, but I also don't want to starve. And there's a storm coming, and Hoover's running around after her son with an axe in his back. I mean, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Well, I always say keep your head down, keep doing your job, but yeah, that's getting harder by the day.
I think I think Blues like leans forward and takes his hand on top of yours and says, if I do take control of this place to make things safe, do you promise that this place won't change for me?
You know me, I'll always be here, especially for my favorites.
And I think well, as long as I'm fed, I'll keep you safe. And he like slams his empty glass into the table.
And Jaybird will take that as a cue to refill it because, yeah, there's a bartender, but I'm not going to bother for this. Just kind of stand up, sweep the glass away, and go to get him another one.
Nice. You want to call it there for the scene? Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's the end of that.
Yeah, nice. Hoover.
Yes.
Yeah, walking out into the waste is it's definitely a fire you're acting under.
All right. Cool. All right. Once. Oh, 10 plus, and I advance.
Nice. So yeah, and so you get to tell me how this resolves with Splendor. What, in a sense, or up to a point, how you find him. The thing is, he was walking like
With
which
an
he
axe on
definitely,
his back.
yeah, with an axe in his back, walking in the general in the direction of where you also after a while like can recognize there's some weather phenomenon going on at the edge of the horizon, and he's heading straight towards it, and he's probably walking further towards it.
All right. I basically grab his hand and say, "Splendor, we gotta go home. I'll take care of the axe."
Yeah, and I think it takes a moment, like he takes another 2-3 steps, and like you repeat yourself, right? But then there's something where like, oh, he hears the voice of his dad.
Yeah.
And stops, and then as you like very gently tug at him, you even manage to get him to turn around.
All right.
And
Cool.
like supporting him, you're like heading back. I
All right.
guess, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me look at moves to see what I can get.
Yeah, have a look at that. Sugar, you're carrying limp the limp corpse of Rolfball through town, and it's definitely like drawing eyes, and like people are muttering. No one confronts you or asks any questions. Like they all keep like at a distance, right? But you come to a point where you're like maybe like still like 100 paces away. Like you can see the building that is the farm already. When you see like a couple of those strange, like you did, like you've seen them before. They all wear like multiple like rags on top of each other. They all like these are crazies that go out and purposefully like expose themselves to the outside of the dome, and have visions and stuff. Like, I mean, you I think you faintly like remember that I guess this Frankie, he died out there. He must have been one of those weird ass cultists as well. You haven't heard or seen from their leader, but I don't know how much attention you actually pay to those kinds of people. The problem, though, is they clearly look like they've like gathered up to confront you, or at least block the direct way to the farm, right? As you like take stock of them, you hear someone say something to you, and from the building on the side, like someone. Like, I don't think it actually has a door, but someone stepped into the doorway, and it's like, "Hey, sugar." And it's Artemis, and she looks down the street at those cultists that have like gathered up and are like kind of standing there blocking the street. She says, "You mind coming this way with me?"
I don't mind. Do you want him to come along? I gesture at the body on my shoulder with the foot in my hand.
I mean, yeah, I'd like to maybe make that vanish and keep things more quiet. Are you up for that?
Sure.
I also want to talk to you, if you don't mind.
Talking is my specialty.
Good. Well, I think like a stone gets lobbed, like it doesn't even like hit you, right? But someone out of those cultists lobbed the stone in your general direction.
Are you leading, or do I need to set this down to take care of other business?
No, come on in. And she like gives him a look, and then slinks back into the shadows for you to join her.
I will not rush, but really rushing for sugar. I will step inside.
Yeah. So as you step inside and your eyes adjust, there's like a little hatch in the floor that's opened, and she like half stands in it and waves you, "Come down here. Close the hatch behind you." Yeah, I've got something where you can put your baggage. Then let's have a talk.
I will hand the package down to her, I suppose, and then hop in and close the hatch.
Yeah, and she's got like some kind of there's a box on the side where basically you to put Rolf Ball in close to the box. It's like sealed airtight. And she's like, "All right, let me check the lock," and goes to actually like lock up the hatch. And yeah, come with me. And you go like down and these seem like maintenance tunnels that like run along where like the sewage system also goes. And she takes you like, it's not very confusing, just like once to the left, couple paces straight, and then again once to the right, and then there's like a room she opens where like there's a bunk, and there's some like dried food stuff on the table. It's like, "Come, sit down, let's have a bite. Why don't we?" She clearly seems a little bit nervous, but what do you do?
Sit down, probably shift, which requires shifting weapons around, but sit down, and if she's got food out, I'll start noshing and wait for her to tell me what she wants to talk to me about.
Rolfball dying is bad. I think you know that.
Well, I mean, sounds like all of us just died. Unless you know how to make food in that place.
I'm not no. I'd be No, you're right. We're in quite a situation here. And things need to go different going forward, I feel. I mean, you've got those weird as the followers of the Grey Worm is what they call themselves. Can you I mean, my fucking son was part of well, we've got those. We've got this. I don't know what happened to. Why did Rolfball have to die? Can you tell me?
He needed to be disfigured, and he picked the wrong time to run.
Those rules are ridiculous. And she looks at you like watching for a reaction.
Disfigured could have gone a lot of way. I don't even know what the rules mean.
So,
private.
Yeah. So does Sugar also think they are ridiculous, or does Sugar agree? Like, I mean, rules are rules. If like they're set up, then you have to keep them. Or
I would know. I'd
feel?
say Sugar is definitely giving off in between there. Sadly, rules are good, and she kind of like she likes the water bringer. Hoover spot with her. I mean, seems stand up, but doesn't necessarily agree with the rules. So
do you let that shine through?
Yeah, she's not hiding anything.
Okay.
She likes rules, maybe not necessarily the current set.
And Artemis is like, I mean, I don't know. Can I trust you?
I am totally trustworthy.
Are you telling the truth?
I think she is telling the truth, but I think it's not. At the same time, it's not a direct answer. So it's like, it depends. Like, if she, why do you want me to trust you? What are you trusting me about?
I mean, there's some sensitive topics we need to discuss. I feel I want to be able to discuss with you, but if I can't trust you to like keep things between us, and I'm willing to hold things off if we don't agree on something, that's fine too. But
so what you're asking, to clarify, sorry, I have to make sure because I don't get people so good sometimes. You're wanting to know if you can trust me to keep what you're saying here. Like if you say, hey, we need to kill Hoover, then I don't then instantly go and say, Hoover, that bitch said I wanted to kill you. Or
yes,
whatever.
Precisely, because assume I'd say something like that, you might still be. I'm still open to other options.
Okay, then yes, I am trustworthy. You could tell me whatever or ask me about whacking anybody. I'm not gonna go tell anybody.
Are you now telling the truth still?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's okay, good, because there's a serious problem with leadership in this community. And she's like sits down and opens opens some kind of hard liquor to pour for the both of you. Okay, let's cut here and we can return here in a moment. Why just Hoover, you're returning with Splendor back home, right?
Yeah, and a new move I took Weather Eye from the driver. which lets me open my brain with cool instead of weird. So yeah.
Yeah, so you bring Splendor home. I think there's some fear of actually like removing the axe. Also, there's some fear like Gage is like, I don't think we can like take him out of his suit. I don't think that'd be good. I don't know why, but I don't think it'd be good.
This is when I use my new move to open my brain to see what Splendor thinks, or what he thinks or what he wanted to do with that weird phenomenon.
What do you how does this look like? What is Hoover actually doing to like
So I think
communicate with his son?
I think after the experience with trying to open his brain like randomly, I think he understood Splendor more and can actually get him via his own sense. So hence why he can roll plus cool instead of weird now.
So you're like really connecting with your son here. That's a
Yeah.
nice family story.
Yes, pretty much. I guess. Even though he has
Okay.
an axe on his back and I murder people, so all right.
Yeah, let's see what that looks like.
All right. Let me look at the plus at the 11 that I rolled. Okay.
Nice.
And I still have cool highlighted, so I'm gonna mark. Watch me like get all the XP in just one session. No, like I already got 5 this session. Last session I only had 1, so
Yeah, okay. Well, let's return to that because I think I might actually have to think about you're like pushing very far into the psychic maelstrom farther than I was expecting.
I know, right?
I don't think I have that much of an idea yet. So
But yeah, my main concern is why do I why was Splendor walking outside, and how do I help him get this axe out so he can stay alive? I guess.
yeah, thank you. That helps me a lot. I can give you an answer to those things, I think, in a moment. After your little tete-a-tete, Blues and Jaybird, is there anything else you want to go do after that, or?
I want to find out who's going to pay me for dealing with this thing that's coming.
Okay. And how are you planning on finding that out?
I mean, I'm sure there's a limited amount of people who have a lot of barter in town.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Hoover, like we didn't see it on screen, but you had like twice come running up to you from Blues's gang, right?
Yeah.
From the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And he definitely informed you that someone's coming.
Well, also I saw it. So
yeah, but you saw the storm. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But there's also someone coming in a vehicle that's not something you could have really.
Oh, okay.
Because we needed that special piece of tech to actually see that properly.
All right.
And I think you had other worries, and you would be expecting, like, oh, there's someone else living. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you can you've been informed by twice about this.
Also, do you want me to spend barter for the lifestyle, since I was mostly outside of the source?
You were not cut off from your source. I think that's the important part, right? You were able to go back multiple times. The Rolf
so, I can situation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So who has influence in town, or who actually has barter? That's kind of an issue right now, right? The town is kind of split up. Like you have your group, which you have say over. Like that's not been challenged. There hasn't been anything. They're disciplined. They're also, if things are going okay, things are going okay. They didn't have to do anything yet. But they're getting more antsy. That's one group. Then there's this group of those weird fucking cultists that I don't know how you feel about them.
I fucking hate their guts.
Yeah. Then there's Hoover, who definitely could payroll you, right? Just with the access to water alone, in a sense. With Jaybird, you already have kind of a deal going on, right? That's more small time. And
well, we did establish that Artemis also has money last time. She was a wealthy.
Yes, and Artemis is definitely a person of influence. And we, on a player level, know she's been talking to people. She's been recruiting allies. That's something we've seen with Sugar, all right? That's definitely where that direction goes. And Jaybird was able to observe that. I think it's fine enough for you to also have a general idea that that might be a thing. But like even if you like if you're aware of that, she has the smallest number of people.
I'm going to
Hoover.
the farm. That seems like an interesting place to be right now. Even that the person who had money there is dead.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you wanna like
yeah, I'm bringing my gang.
Yeah, pillage it before someone else takes the food. Definitely. Yeah, then let me just quickly poll everybody else what everybody else would be up to. Oh, I know what Hoover's up to. Sugar, with Artemis, do you have something you want to achieve there, or do you just want to be exchange pleasantries, or do you think you want to?
Well, I was curious. I mean, she just said she wanted to talk, so I want to find out what she's offering and what services that she's hoping to get from me.
Oh, she's definitely looking for an ally. If you want to know more, we'll have to play that out. And so if that interests you, we can dig deeper there.
Yeah. Oh, I have to work for somebody. Have to have scratch.
Yep. And yeah, Jaybird, maybe for you the big question is, when does word, like at some point word gets around, right? Rothball was seen basically, to all intents and purposes, probably dead and carried through town, and I think that word gets around to the refuge rather quickly. So you get to pick up on that.
Twice it probably comes. He saw it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like he just went with a message to Hoover, and then like the second later they dragged the Rothball's body out, and he like comes into the refuge, like probably like screams it out or like says it out loud so everybody in the place hears it. Rothball is dead. What about our food?
Fuck.
I think the guests there are like, what? And like, I mean, the few who just ate or just eating are like kind of looking at their plates, at their food, right? What do you do, Jaybird?
Well, any plans Jaybird may have had are forestalled by the looks of obvious worry going on here. he'll stand up kind of grandly, spread his arms, saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you, as I always do." And trying to calm the room. I'm not sure if that's a move or not, but
Yeah, I think tell me, why is Toyota your worst customer?
Toyota is, loud and keeps bringing in issues with him. He'll try to, pick fights with people in here. He often tries to get his food without paying, but unlike Blues, he doesn't add any value to the place for me. I'll overlook a lot of stuff on Blues' end because he tends to back me up when I need it. Toyota's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
but I can't turn him away because I've got the food.
Yeah, but JB, like, where'd you get your food from? I mean, you say you're gonna, like, how? and like people are muttering, and yeah.
Well, I've got connections. I'm find things, or things find me. He had a source. We can find a way to make it work. You don't have to worry about it. That's my job. I do all the worrying here.
I think like Toyotas and Wells and Lampreys, like they kind of look at each other and then like kind of look back towards the kitchen where like Partridge is working. Yeah, and they're like, it's definitely feels like it might be coming a judge situation.
Yeah. I would like to read a person then, I think, because I think Toyota's sort of the center of it more than the sitch, unless you think the sitch makes more sense.
So, before you roll, what does it look like in the fiction? Do you like get up and move more over to him, or?
Yeah, it's a fairly small, intimate place, and I definitely back that up in my interactions with the customers. I kind of walk over, put a hand on the back of the booth he's sitting in, and lean in a bit to look at him.
Yeah, cool.
I think Blues helps. I think he like grabs his gun and puts it on the table and looks up at him like he got his back, making it less charged.
Yep. Then roll your help. And so you definitely get a +1.
No. Read a sitch. There we go.
Or read a person, you said.
Oh, yeah. Oh, read a sitch, read a person. Same stat. I was looking for if that was sharp.
Just checking because it changes.
And with his 1, that's an 11.
Nice. So you get to hold 3. I mean, Toyota's like, well, so you got like food stocked up. He's like fishing for.
I'm gonna ask first off, what does he wish I'd do?
I think he wishes that that he could be like, he kind of wants to be in your circles like Bar and Blues is, right? like being like he kind of feels like it's not his fault that he's always like the center of trouble or the like that bad. He actually wants to like belong to this place, and then he'd be like, yeah. So, but right now he's kind of like fishing for. So you're well stocked up. We don't need to worry about this right now.
So then, you're not eating the last of the stores.
Oh, okay.
And
and he like kind of peers over to Blues and like he said, yeah, I mean, just checking because I mean, like that rough fall news, that's like real worrying, right? I mean, who knows how to work those thingies.
And my next question, how could I get him to shut up and fall in line?
For like just now or for like longer?
Just now would work. Longer would be awesome. I don't think Jaybird's playing the long game right now, though.
I mean, you see how he looked over to Blues, and it wasn't like a look of like disdain or anything. So right now, if you like basically give him a drink and indulge his, like try to indulge his exploits, get
Give him
to
the
talk
Blues
about,
treatment a little.
yeah, exactly, right. And for longer, introduce him to Blues and get Blues to take him on as part of his gang.
Blues has a fanboy. Okay. Yeah, I'll put a hand on his shoulder and give it kind of a reassuring squeeze and say, but I know I don't have anything to worry about either, as long as I've got my regulars keeping me afloat. And I'll kind of gesture to the kitchen and, like, hey, just give everyone around, please.
Oh, nice. You want to give everyone around?
Yeah, not just him, but
yeah.
I assume there's not too many people in here, but I'm giving it to him, but also the others. I don't want it to look too much like I'm just placating the one whiner in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, here's like a. I think I might give you a choice here, right? Do you want something out of this, or are you fine with just that? If you actually want to throw around and like chip in a barter, that might definitely go for something.
Oh. Yeah, that's a move, isn't it?
Do you have, or is that a move? I don't actually know.
Well, if you give one barter to someone but with strings attached, it counts as manipulating them. I'm getting a 10 plus.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll do that. Maybe. Or is it going to cost a barter for me to do this anyway?
No.
Since it's my
like
establishment.
if it's just like if you like want to keep it on the down low and just give everyone like a shot that doesn't count for anything, okay. Or if you actually want to like get this this kind of regulars, or at least not even if not everybody is here, you're definitely getting well, we can talk about what you want from them in the coming days.
Yeah, what I'm after, at least for this moment, is just kind of calming the room down. I don't want to start a panic this quick after Rolf Ball died, especially not before I can decide what I'm doing about it.
Yeah. And for one barter, I think you can achieve that here.
What if I don't put in a barter, but instead spin it as like a manipulate someone or something? Would that still work, or do I need to put the...
Then I think then we would need to hear a little bit more about what you doing in the fiction.
Okay. Then I will spend my remaining barter and be broke. But that's okay.
Okay. then
Yeah, I think like when Twice goes for his drink, as like Bruce says, not you Twice, you're getting the gang. We're going to get the food.
nice.
And I think maybe I imposed my will on him. I don't know. Or is that the whole game?
I mean, depends what's your intention. You're getting the gang. I mean, just getting the gang is, I think, something they just would do.
Sure.
If you want to have them, like, if you want to, like,
but
make this a little broader and already put you in a position to follow up your intentions in something.
Sure, we could do that. I mean, I was thinking more like, because also it's not only that, it's also that he's getting an offer for a free drink. And I'm like, no, you're my bitch.
Yeah.
You're getting them.
I think Twice is probably not that uppity.
Sure.
But I think I'd like to see how yeah, you're like getting your gang to escalate things in a different manner, not here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of aiming for getting control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see that roll. And that'll be a good point.
And I also advance.
Nice, and you do it. So when we get to it, I'll be letting you like frame them, right? Or what is the
move is pack alpha. When you try to impose your will on your gang, roll plus hard on a 10 plus all three, which is they do what you want. They don't fight you over it, otherwise they do. And you don't have to make an example of one of them, otherwise you must.
Okay. So this way everything goes fine though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got your weather eye roll, so we'll get back to that in a moment. And Sugar, like I want to take a quick little break before the last round of scenes. But Sugar, you were interested in getting, like, actually talking to Artemis more. Oh, Sugar, you weren't able to hear me.
No, I could hear you. I just put the headphones on so you didn't get any feedback once I turned on the mic. Yes, I definitely, interested in hearing what she has to say.
Okay. So do you want to read her in the following conversation that will follow here?
I would love to fail at that.
I mean, you don't have to. You can also just go.
I would assume normally I would be listening to see if she's on the. I mean, I would be reading her.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not good doesn't mean I'm not going to be attempting to.
Yeah. Because then I have 2 results. 4 results actually.
I mean, I'm not horrible at that anyway.
Okay, so it'll be you get 1 hold in the following conversation, and yeah. So another 5-minute break, and then we'll do the last round of scenes to set us up where we end up, and do end of session afterward.
Alrighty.
Sure, Ryan, are you back? Oh yeah, there you are. Cool. Okay. So I think let's try it this way, because we're gonna cut very quickly to all of those different scenes as everything is happening kind of in parallel. On one side. No, my camera's.
Your camera's off, yeah.
Yeah, it sometimes does that. Got it in a moment. So on one side, we see Splendor sitting on his bed, and Hoover, you're like kind of on eye level, his visor open, right, squatting in front of him, like holding him by his shoulders, looking into his eyes, and maybe not even speaking to him at all, just connecting with your son. When he like slowly stands up with you together, walking you over to what is like an old, or like we recognize it as a console.
Yeah.
Something you don't actually use either way. It's like one of those shiny, blinky things from the bar, right? And then we actually cut to the bar, and like this nonsense written on there in the bar, and we get like this very tight circling motion around Jaybird. As you look over your bar, your people here who are like in a very calm, low but mellow mood. I think you're like kind of drinking in the peacefulness that's here right now, with like that brooding feeling. This might be as peaceful as it'll get for quite a while, or who knows, right? And then we're like, and you can hear the roaring outside, the roaring of some kind of engines, and we get a pan up from the refuge, and we see how Blues' gang is spreading out and encircling what is the perma farm there. And we see like people from the cult running. Like we get definitely like the impression that the cultists, they kind of almost immediately have started nesting there. Like they've kind of gathered there, not really in an organized manner, but they're all there, and they definitely might get into the way of whatever Blues is planning there. Or it's pretty clear, right? Blues planning to go in, move in, take over the farm place with whatever there is, right? And then we hear, like, as we still like see this, we hear Artemis's voice saying, Sugar, here's the thing. I'm gathering all those people all over the settlement who've got like a modicum of sense left in them, and I dearly, dearly hope you're one of them. By the way, you can ask your question whenever you want there, right? And now we actually cut to there and see like a close-up of her face, like looking at you and kind of leaning over on the table and saying, when the time comes, I need to rely on you that you're standing on my side in this. I don't see any other chance we'll get out of this one.
Okay. I will ask my question. What did they intend to do, since she's not actually saying it?
Well, pretty much what Artemis wants to do is, and what she's been doing, is trying to reach out to anyone who's like willing to hear her out, and we got to stick together now, and we got to remove any other authority that there is, because everyone else is fucking it up. Everyone is like cooking too small of a thing for their own, and it's gonna come to bloodshed, and we need to remove those who are holding power right now. So what she's doing is something in the background, right? All those that aren't clearly aligned to anyone, aligning them to her. And she's counting on you on being her firepower in this, right? Her gang. She knows she might, like, in general, have fewer people that she can get to back her. And the same goes with muscle. But if she's got you, she would have a leg to stand on when she announces or when she makes her move to take everyone else down. And down doesn't mean killing, right? It can just mean, well, Waterbearer, if you're willing to step down peacefully, that's cool. You can live with us. But it's not going to be your laws anymore that will govern this. And that, like, she wants actually to build a cohesive governing structure here.
Sure.
Nice. So
I just like sure. Put out the hit.
yeah, and she clasps your hand, right? And I think I want one last move from the chopper, because you're actually trying to seize the farm by force, I think, with your gang, right?
I mean, I don't think I necessarily want it to be a bloodshed if they don't. If they,
it is okay. Yeah. I mean,
if they don't give me any choice, I will definitely do that. But yeah,
you're making the first move here. You're right. This is like a go aggro with your gang.
Mm-hmm.
And that might just like peacefully like let you take it all.
Yeah. I think basically like you see Blues standing in front of his gang, like probably like in a half circle around like the perma farm. I don't know how those people look in front of there, but it's just like, so no more of this funny business. We're taking the farm. You can move, you can stay and farm, but none of that fucking Virm thing then. If not, get the fuck off.
Nice.
And he like cocks his
yeah,
his
and
gun.
yeah, and we get this low shot of like your gang with their guns out, starting to just advance. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they can choose one of the above or one of the following.
I think they're at first they're like stunned, right? They're like looking at each other. You're advancing, and you actually give off a shot into the air, and that makes them like disperse. Like that's like the starting shot for them to just like panic and run off in all directions, right? Disperse in front of you. So they're like getting the hell out of your way here. And I think we hear that ringing shot as Artemis clasps hand with Sugar. We see like Jaybird looking up from hearing that shot ring across the settlement. And then we cut over to Hoover. You're sitting there with your son, and your son is at the console, and he's touching it like he's like he has been born to touch these things. What he's doing, like his fingers fly over the keys on the console, and he's typing out, "Father, I can save us from the storm. I can eat it. I can eat it all."
Is that where you want to cut? Because I have so many fucking questions right now.
This is the end of the episode.
It's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, and the remaining things I was thinking of doing aren't good episode ends, so I'm content to leave it there.
Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I think let's do history. Yeah, let's go around like we like in the beginning. So I guess Jaybird first.
What was the moves?
So the end of session is at the end of session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. Tell that player to add +1 to their HX with you on their sheet.
Right.
So I'm gonna start with Jaybird. Who knows you better, Jaybird?
I'm gonna say that Hoover knows me better because I stood up to Hoover pretty directly this time.
I would say more. Like I would say more blues, but I'll take that fucking +1. Sure.
It's decision.
No, like
I
I'm just
think
surprised that you
that's
said
right.
Hoover. What?
Yeah.
No,
I say
like that
Hoover.
because
Take your +1.
we had the change on relationship between
Actually,
Jaybird and Blues in the session, so I think this is actually a good choice.
All right.
Or did you want to add
Wait.
something, Ryan? Sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
oh no, I was thinking about the difference between adding and subtracting, but I think we've got extra history now, so I will add a +1.
To Hoover, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that move you up to +4 with Jamie?
No, I had 1 with everyone, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say, if that's okay,
Who knows you better, Hoover?
Sugar, but Sugar isn't gonna be with us, so
Oh no, I think you are, right? You're signed up
Yeah.
for the rest of the sessions too.
I'm in all three others, the last 3 sessions.
wait. So Ian isn't gonna join us back, or are we?
You mean
Like,
Mike?
Mike?
John will be back for the next sessions. Like
No, I'm
he's
just
signed up.
no, I'm just asking about Mike now.
Yeah, like I wanted to bring that up afterwards, but
Okay.
so you can
Alright,
feel
so-
free to handle Sugar here.
Yeah, I'll give it to Sugar. A +1.
That brings you up to +3, right? I assume.
Yes.
So Sugar, who knows you better?
Rolf Ball. No, I'm gonna say it would be Hoover.
All right. Rolf Ball knows you better. Like, too bad that Rolf Ball is dead.
And Blues, who knows you better?
Jaybird knows me better.
And that rolls you over to 4. So back to 1, and I get an advance. Well, I get experience. I'm going to advance next time, probably.
Wait,
Yep.
who gets the advance when it rolls over?
Jaybird.
Well, yeah, I get an experience for that.
Oh,
rolling
because
over.
you were the one who rolled over. Okay.
Yeah.
I hate Hex because it's so confusing. I'm just gonna say it outright.
I think though, like it's somewhat like what I usually do when we do like rollover hex, that you learn something new about the character. And I think like for Jaybird, it's probably that that Blues actually cares about this place.
Yeah, that was a new thing that Jaybird definitely learned, that it's not just this is the food, and so he comes in and throws his weight around, but that he actually cares about maintaining the refuge as a refuge.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's the new level the relationship gets to. Yeah, like that's part of that's super ephemeral or esoteric, but it's a thing I really like about the HX stuff, actually. That you actually
like
have to. Yeah.
I like that house rule that was just mentioned. The one where what's a new detail that you learn when there's a hacks rollover?
Yeah, because I know, looking at how it is on the playbooks, I was going, so when I know someone better, I know them less? What? But no, that makes total sense.
Yeah, this is like
working up to Revelations.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing like, oh yeah, I mean, we're just acquaintances. Okay, we know how to act around each other. And then we're like, something happens and we're like, oh no, this is like a new relationship. But then you're suddenly feeling a little bit more, okay, how do I actually move in this relationship? It has changed. I like that idea of it, actually. That's a neat thing. Cool. Yeah, so Mike, actually, I talked to him a little bit, and he asked me if he would be able to join for the other sessions. Now, for people, there's already like a lot of people in the in an Apocalypse World game, a lot of characters. So, and I really don't necessarily want to discuss it here. Maybe just shoot me a line what you think about it, and maybe we can. Like, I have to think about it as well. I'm not decided yet.
Okay.
We're gonna do it because I need to feel comfortable as well handling so many people and giving you like a satisfying experience. So I think that's definitely a thing to think about, and we can talk maybe in between, and I'll see what makes sense. Like I can write a love letter to get his character into an interesting position. Like that's like, I'm not that worried about that part. I'm more worried about, do we like it gets to be a lot, and there's a lot of balls in the air already. So I'll think about that if that's possible for me. Yeah, and I might like want to like come to you and ask you about this as well. Okay, then I'll stop the broadcast and we can do a little bit. Like, we have 10 minutes left and can talk a little bit. What else?